Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
okay, Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome to our class management of Zakat and Waqf. Today we will discuss chapter 3, models of Waqf management. So there are many models of Waqf management, and today we will talk about Waqf bank models. So there are two types of Waqf bank models. The first type is where a bank open a Waqf window or unit selling Waqf product. So the first type is where a bank open a Waqf window. And the second type is we call Waqf bank proper. That is a bank that finances its operation from Waqf funds. So the first type is where a bank open a Waqf window is already established in Malaysia. It's called Waqf Selangor Muamalat. So Waqf Selangor Muamalat is a collaboration with Selangor Waqf Corporation and Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad. And the second type is the setting up of the Waqf bank proper is still not established in Malaysia. It has been discussed since a long time ago, but it's still not properly set up. Although it was set up in Turkey under the name of Waqf Bank. So let's discuss the first type of Waqf, of bank Waqf. The first type of Waqf bank model. It was established by Waqf Selangor Muamalat. Okay, so there is a bank, Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad, which opened a Waqf window. So Waqf Selangor Muamalat is a pioneer in the cash Waqf scheme in Malaysia that involves the collaboration between Perbadanan Waqf Selangor, and Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad. It was launched in 2012 with a total fund of 1.08 million ringgit, which was contributed by Bank Muamalat and donated by its employees. So under the collaborative framework, the scheme has been jointly managed through the creation of Joint Management Committee consisting of representatives from Bank Muamalat and Perbadanan Waqf Selangor. So this is a joint venture between Bank Muamalat and Perbadanan Waqf Selangor. So under this collaborative framework, the scheme has been jointly managed through the creation of a joint management committee consisting of representatives from Bank Muamalat and Perbadanan Waqf Selangor. As of January 2015, the joint committee, which is under the supervision of Selangor Islamic Religious Council, is chaired by a chairman, consists of 3 representatives from Perbadanan Waqf Selangor and 3 representatives from Bank Muamalat. The committee is responsible to determine the allocation of Waqf fund to any eligible project or or individual who deserve to be helped using the Waqf fund. The management of Waqf Selangor Muamalat is carried out according to the principles of corporate governance. To ensure transparency in the management of the Waqf fund, the Waqf Muamalat Selangor scheme is supervised by two internal auditory bodies, that is Internal Audit Department of Selangor State Islamic Religious Council and the Internal Audit Department of Bank Muamalat. The supervision entails that audits and inspections are to be carried out from time to time uh, to audit the activities of Waqf Selangor Muamalat. An audit report should be presented to the Joint Management Committee, and then it was also further up to the Perbadanan Waqf Selangor and Bank Muamalat Joint Audit Committee. So the process is very strict uh, in order to ensure the Waqif as well as the governance stakeholders of Waqf Selangor Muamalat as to the integrity of the scheme. It's very important because the public nowadays they are very well informed, so they need to know where the money, how the money is spent by this scheme. So this is very interesting. In Malaysia, uh, it was uh, it was pioneered by this Bank Muamalat and Perbadanan Waqaf Selangor, and I think other countries should also follow. Individuals who wish to participate in the scheme may donate cash through the counter at Bank Muamalat branches through the through the operation of hibah carried out by the customers of Bank Muamalat Wadi'ah account. So anybody who wants to participate uh, and have the Wadi'ah account can donate so through the operation of hibah or using the periodical payment instruction PPI or debiting the amount to be donated from the savings or current account or by check. So this is how the public can donate. I think many people are still not aware of the existence of this Waqf scheme. So in 2014, the total fund collected from the public has reached 5.7 million. Since the launching of the scheme, the Waqf Muamalat Selangor Joint Committee has approved 213,000 distribution of funds for implementation of Waqf projects. For the fiscal year of 2013, the Waqf fund approved for disbursement was 604,133 ringgit. So there's a big gap between collection and disbursement. In the most recent report, in the third quarter of 2015, it was reported that the total balance of Waqf fund as of 30 September 2015 was 10 million, whilst the amount of disbursement after this date up to 31st December was 879,974 ringgit. So there's a big gap. The collection is more than 10 billion, more than 10 million ringgit, about 10.7 million, and the distribution is less than 1 million. So the discrepancy in the amount might be because Waqf Selangor Muamalat Management is very selective in disbursing the Waqf fund, and only cases which had been approved, which has been proven to be genuine, were being assisted. In any event, this shows that the management is on the right track by not disbursing public money according to their whims and fancies. But there is still an issue. Um, the the amount of Waqf collected uh, is far greater than the amount of Waqf disbursement or Waqf distribution. So on one hand, it's good, but on the other hand, some experts are uh, the, in the discussion that the Waqf fund should be um, properly utilized, and it should be better utilized because there are many people who are in need. But if you are being too stringent, too strict, then many people who might deserve to be assisted using the Waqf fund they may not get the disbursement of the Waqf fund. So that is the issue. Um, so as of 2016, so I think we need to do some research to uh, to investigate the current collection and disbursement of the Waqf fund up until 2020. So I'm going to do the research on this one uh, to check or to investigate the efficiency in the Waqf distribution um, by this Waqf Selangor Muamalat banking window or product model. It's a good model. I think it's been successful in terms of being able to collect Waqf from the public. Only on the disbursements side, you know, there need to be some study to investigate why the Waqf disbursement is still very low. I think during the time of this COVID-19, they should be more active in distribution of Waqf, and I mean the Waqf fund is not to be kept. There should be uh, more studies and more discussions on how to distribute and disburse Waqf fund more efficiently and more effectively. So that is my opinion, and inshallah I will do more research on this one. Okay, the second type of a Waqf bank model is the full service Waqf bank model. This type of uh, Waqf bank model is not yet in operation in Malaysia. Although there has been many discussions since 5 or 6 years ago about the possibility of establishing full service Waqf bank model in Malaysia. However, there is one such model, which is the Waqf Bank of Turkey. One of the most successful Waqf funded banks in the world is Waqf Bank of Turkey. However, there is some conflicting, uh, there is an anomaly in the operation of Waqf Bank because 60% of the 60% funded by Waqf. This Waqf Bank of Turkey, 60% has been funded by Waqf, and most of which has been in existence since the Ottoman Empire, since the Ottoman era, which is an Islamic institution. However, currently, Waqf Bank is a conventional banking which is involved with riba or interest-bearing banking activities. In Turkey, banks are classified as deposit banks, participation, i.e. Islamic banks, and investment and development banks. While Waqf Bank is classified as a state-owned deposit bank and not a participation or Islamic bank. So, okay, so Waqf Bank is a state majority-owned bank in Turkey that was incorporated under a special charter, Republic of Turkey's law number 6219, dated 11th January 1954 and commenced operations in 1954 with an initial capital of 50 million Turkish lira. The bank's founding mission was to manage and use the assets of foundations or Waqf in the most efficient manner to contribute to Turkey's savings rate based on modern banking principles and to channel the deposits collected toward the country's economic development. As of September 2014, Waqf Bank is the seventh largest bank in Turkey in terms of asset size. Okay. Okay, as of September 2014, Waqf Bank was the seventh largest bank in Turkey in terms of asset size. And Okay, sorry about the technical problem. Okay. As of September 2014, Waqf Bank, as of September 2014, Waqf Bank undertakes to serve its corporate and individual customers in the financing of domestic and foreign trade through 882 branches, 3,127 ATM, and 146,646 units of point of sales system that constitute its alternative distribution channel. Waqf Bank has three international branches located in New York, Bahrain, and Erbil in Iraq. Waqf Bank operates in Austria with a subsidiary, Waqf Bank International AG, which has branches in Vienna, Cologne, and Frankfurt. As of December 2014, the share capital of Waqf Bank was 2,500 million Turkish lira, consisting of 250 trillion shares, each share with a nominal value of 0.01 Turkish lira. Waqf Bank is controlled by over 40,000 charitable foundations or Waqf institutions. 40,000 charitable or Waqf institutions, which are managed by Turkish Prime Minister's General Directorate of Foundations, GDF. However, not all shareholders are Waqf institutions because as of January 2005, Waqf Bank and Waqf Bank pension funds sold respectively 27 trillion, 27.9 trillion and 4.3 trillion Class D common shares of Waqf Bank in the IPO, representing 20.8% and 3.37% respectively. So Waqf Bank also, they have pension, they have launched Waqf Bank Pension Fund. So Waqf Bank is considered a Waqf bank because the shares held by Waqf institutions are paid by Waqf money. Registered shareholdings in Waqf Bank as of September 24 are as follows. So this class of shares for the first class is foundations or Waqf institutions represented by Directorate of Foundations. Okay, so it has 43% of the share, and B, appendant foundations represented by Directorate of Foundations, other appendant foundations, okay, big numbers. So table 3.1 indicates that 58.6% of shareholders, that is the majority of Waqf institutions or state authority representing the Waqf institution, which means that Waqf Bank is still Waqf Bank through its shareholding, although it's not 100%. The main shareholder of the General Directorate of Foundations, which manages foundations owning 58.5% of the shares of Waqf Bank, 43 in the form of Class A shares and 15.45% in the form of Class B shares. The General Directorate of Foundation was established in 1924 to administer and regulate existing and future Turkish charitable foundations as a governmental entity directly reporting to the Prime Minister. The GDF is a separate legal entity that has its own budget. The GDF was given the authority to establish a bank subject to the Turkish incorporation law to manage the foundations of Waqf's revenues and expenses. Waqf Bank's employees contribute to Waqf Bank Pension Fund as opposed to the mandatory social security coverage provided by the, the government uh, social security institution in Turkey. Therefore, all of Waqf Bank's employees must become members of Waqf Bank Pension Fund, so they have their own pension fund. The other shareholders consist of individuals or legal entities who together own 0.06% of Waqf Bank's equity as Class C shareholders. The Class D shareholders that acquired Class D shares of Waqf Bank in the IPO, which own in the aggregate 25.2% of the outstanding shares of Waqf Bank. None of the Class D shareholders owns more than 5% of the shares in the Waqf Bank. So in Malaysia, there has been studies by Muhammad 2011 to establish Waqf Bank in Malaysia, similar to the Waqf Bank in Turkey. Muhammad had discussed the permissibility of setting up a Waqf Bank in Islamic law. According to Muhammad, the, establish, the establishment of a Waqf Bank is not against the principles of Sharia, although there's no explicit mention of the ruling on it in Islamic law primary text. The word waqaf itself is not mentioned in the Quran and in the Sunnah. However, there are many discussion by jurists saying that waqaf has been practiced since the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So uh, all of the waqaf issues are decided based on the ijtihad because it's not mentioned specifically in the Quran and in the Sunnah. So the permissibility of cash waqaf therefore can be extended to waqaf bank. The Sharia validity of a waqaf bank is also derived from the fact that the needs of waqaf is beneficiaries and the general interest of the society or public interest, maslah amma, are better served with the establishment of such waqaf bank. In short, Waqf Bank is permissible in the Sharia ground on its operation and utility benefit the Ummah. So I think there should be more study in Malaysia to establish the Waqf Bank, the full service bank which is financed by Waqf, because I think during this time of the pandemic, there is a need to help those affected by the pandemic. There are some people who have been hit hard by this pandemic. There are some people who have been unemployed. Some people lost their jobs. Some people lost their business, and they are in need of steady employment. They are in need of steady, you a steady flow of income. So if they have jobs or if they have business, then they could support the family in the times of crisis like this. And Waqaf could play a major role in supporting employment. For example, using Waqaf fund, we can set up certain kind of factories so that people will be employed, or by giving out a business capital to start, maybe small business. So I think it's about time uh, Malaysia introduced a Waqf bank. So since Waqf Bank is in essence the formal institutionalization of the permission for Muslims to have cash as Waqf, whatever that's allowed with regard to cash Waqf should be allowed as well when it comes to Waqf Bank. So because cash Waqf is permissible, so Waqf Bank is also permissible. According to Zakat, a cash Waqf could function in reality just like a bank. Muhammad 2015 does not envisage the Waqf Bank to be fully funded by the Waqf. Instead, its capitalization will involve other sources as well. So the capitalization structure which has been proposed is as follows. Number one, State Islamic Religious Council. These State Islamic Religious Councils and Waqf bodies can contribute towards the capitalization of the bank by subscribing to the shares of Waqf Bank. Number two, raising new cash Waqf, where such State Islamic Religious Councils and Waqf bodies do not have existing Waqf properties or cash Waqf to subscribe for the capitalization of the planned Waqf Bank, they could raise new cash Waqf just for that purpose. So it, we, um, there's been studies that suggest that State Islamic Religious Councils launch a new cash Waqf scheme if they have not launched already. And the third source of fund is government and government-linked companies, GLC's funding. The bank could get capital or other funds from the governments, whether state or federal, either in the form of loans, cash Waqf grants, and so on. Similarly, GLCs and private bodies, including Islamic banks, can be the participants in the capitalization either through cash Waqf donation, that is subscribing to the shares of the Waqf Bank using cash Waqf, or through investment in the Waqf Bank, subscribing to the shares, not only using not not using Waqf money. And then the fourth source of fund could be IPO, initial public offering. So we suggest, so it has been suggested that the Waqf Bank model could also raise their capital after the initial capital from cash Waqf through IPO. So it has not been done. It's just a proposal, and it needs some further studies. So the IPO has been done by Waqf Bank of Turkey. So why not we try to get the fund using IPOs, just like the Waqf Bank of Turkey, where they have launched an IPO to find additional capital for the bank. And last but not least is the internal source of capital. When the Waqf Bank is already in operation, its capital expenditures may be partly funded by reinvested profits from its banking activities. This has been done in the foundation of Osman ibn Affan. So you can read on the foundation of Osman ibn Affan. With regards to the core business activities of Waqf Bank, Muhammad differentiated between two functions of Waqf Bank: Waqf-related functions and Islamic banking operations. So when we talk about Waqf Bank, so there are two functions. One is, the Islamic banking functions, and the other one is the Waqf-related bank, because just the name suggests, Waqf Bank, it comprises of two things, Waqf and also the bank. So that so Waqf Bank is a bank, and I think it should be an Islamic bank if it is set up. and the fund is collected primarily using the Waqf fund. So Waqf Bank should measure uh, its balance sheet by the achievement of the objectives of Waqf rather than sheer maximization of profits of the bank. So the difference between Waqf Bank and the conventional or Islamic financial Islamic banks is that Waqf Bank is not to maximize the profit, but the objective of Waqf is to um, to set up the priority for the benefit of the ummah, and it's not the maximization of the profit as the objective currently practiced by the commercial bank. Although the maximization of profits and social benefits would be idle as long as the bank has no losses to show, the generation of social value should set off against whatever that's lost in terms of potential profit. So the most important is the objective of realizing the what we call the social objective. And unlike the commercial bank uh, that has the target to maximize profits, the Waqf bank should target other should have other objectives to target. As long as the Waqf bank achieves its social objective by using the Waqf money for the improvement and betterment of society, that is producing hundreds of Muslim entrepreneurs by giving them capital from the Waqf money, even though the Waqf bank register only a small profit compared to other commercial banks, the Waqf bank should be considered a success. Since the criteria of success are not financial profitability, it's not profit maximization, but how efficient it is in using the Waqf money towards improvement and betterment of society. Okay, any question relating to this two Waqf bank model? The first one is the bank with Waqf windows, and the second type is the uh, full service Waqf bank. Ada soalan boleh boleh tanya sebelum kita sambung. Cik Zul, ada soalan? Cik Syarul?
Okey. Yang model yang bank muamalat tu, okey kata?
Ya, ya, ya.
Dia hanya menjalankan untuk urusan wakaf saja kan?
Ya, ya. Dia
Maksudnya
macam ni,
dia bukanlah berdiri.
Dia satu window di bawah bank
Tak payah tak
muamalat. The window.
Okey.
So window tu hanya berurusan dengan muamalat lah. So dia bukan.
Maknanya dia macam menguruskan lah kan?
Ya, ya. Window tu menguruskan apa-apa urusan yang berkaitan dengan wakaf. Dan dia khusus kepada cash wakaf sahaja.
Doktor, adakah possibility untuk in future Malaysia bakal boleh buat seperti mana Waqif Bank tu?
Good question. Itu yang saya discuss tadi. Dia ada beberapa paper dan kajian yang telah dijalankan semenjak tahun 2015. Cuma sekarang ni belum terlaksana lagi dan perlu kajian-kajian susulan lah. untuk kita melihat apa halangan dia kan. So
Okey.
pada pendapat saya perlu ada kajian lain lagi lah. Sebab last kali tahun 2015, lepas tu dia senyap je. Kajian tentang cash wakaf ni, full service wakaf bank. Kajian ni dia senyap. Yang last kali yang saya baca lah, yang last kali 2015. So bagi saya there is a possibility untuk Malaysia ni menubuhkan dia punya first, kita panggil wakaf bank. First bank wakaf lah. Macam similar to Waqf bank in Turkey lah. Waqf bank tu dah ada daripada tahun 1924 dah ada. Lama. Kemudian itulah kita pun dah kaji semenjak tahun 2014, 2015. Lepas tu senyap dia kan. Mungkin ada beberapa isu di peringkat kerajaan barangkali kan.
Ya.
Untuk
Dari segi pelaksanaan.
Dan dia di Malaysia ni bila nak buat bank, dia semuanya mesti under the supervision of Bank Negara Malaysia.
Negara lah, betul.
Lepas tu, even in Turkey pun dia ada masalah. Waqf bank tu sendiri dia jadi conventional bank.
Betul.
Jadi itu satu isu lah. Sebab dia dah di launch lama dulu, tahun 1924.
Betul.
Barangkali pada masa itu tak wujud lagi lah bank Islam. Semua bank operated under conventional behavior kan.
Konsep.
Under conventional concept. Tapi di Turki tu bagi saya it's about time lah. Mereka boleh tukar kepada option sebagai Islamic bank. Sebab sekarang ni di Turki pun ada option untuk menukar daripada konvensional kepada Islamic bank kan. Patutnya macam tu lah. Kemudian di Malaysia ni, itulah saya duk merancang in the future lah nak buat research tentang, nak sambung lah kajian kan. Untuk melihat challenges dan juga halangan lah yang menyebabkan kenapa kita masih gagal lah.
Ya, betul.
Menubuhkan apa ni bank wakaf. Bank wakaf lah bahasa Melayu kan. Bank wakaf. Sepatutnya kita boleh buat bank wakaf. Cuma perlu kajian. Mungkin kajian tu kena buat bersama dengan pakar daripada bidang kewangan lah. Mungkin kena buat kajian bersama pakar panel syariah daripada bank-bank sedia ada. Sebab nak menubuhkan bank di Malaysia ni bukan satu benda yang mudah lah.
Betul.
Dia proses dia kena melalui bank negara macam mana kan. Sebab bila sebut bank wakaf, dia punya dana primarily daripada dana wakaf lah, daripada cash wakaf. Kemudian beza dengan bank yang sedia ada, dia punya objektif tak boleh lah macam bank sedia ada kan. Untuk maximize profit. So kalau ada bank wakaf, okey, dan banyak macam kita melihat wakaf Selangor Muamalat, walaupun dia hanyalah banking window kan. Tapi cuba kita lihat dia punya, kita panggil apa ni, collection dia tinggi.
Itulah.
Collection dia
Betul.
sampai tahun 2015 tu hampir 11 juta.
Betul, different dah. Betul.
Hampir 11 juta. Maknanya bila ada ni orang akan contribute bila ada wakaf window ke kan.
Hmm.
Especially kalau ada wakaf bank yang full fledged bank kan.
Betul. Yang conduct tulis 100% kan.
Kita rasa orang akan contribute sebab
Betul. Hmm.
ada orang kaya, ada orang yang
Betul.
berada, dia nak contribute cuma tak ada channel kan. Cumanya macam kita bincang tadi, um, yang 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 sedia ada ni, wakaf Selangor Muamalat ni, isunya dekat disbursement tu. Dia strict kan, dekat agihan wakaf tu, sebab kan dia strict. Bila dia, wakaf window kan, bank dia satu window daripada bank. Biasalah bank kan, dia strict kan. Nak bagi duit tu dia strict kan. So what happen?
Betul.
Dia punya disbursement has been very low. Tengok tahun 2015.
Betul.
879,000 kan.
Tak sampai 1 juta.
Padahal dia punya collection dekat 11 juta.
9 juta.
Oh.
Betul.
Itu antara
Tak sampai 1 juta disbursement.
Itu antara isu lah bila dia jadi part of the,
Betul.
bila dia jadi kita panggil apa, window kan. Dia ada wakaf window. Yang ni wakaf Selangor Muamalat ni, dia adalah banking window, atau kita boleh juga panggil dia satu produk lah. Tapi saya selesa sebut dia sebagai satu banking window. Bila dia jadi banking window, biasalah behavior bank kan. Bank punya style memang macam tu lah. Apa-apa dia strict kan. Dia ada prosedur nak bagi. Kemudian dia ada auditnya strict. Dia ada 2 audit. Satu daripada bank
Internal.
Internal tu dia ada dua audit. Satu bank muamalat. Bank muamalat punya audit. Satu lagi
Bank negara.
Wakaf Selangor punya audit.
Oh, yalah dia wakaf.
Dia Wakaf Selangor di bawah Majlis Agama Islam Selangor lah.
Okay.
Dan bank muamalat dia ada 2 internal audit.
Jadi ada kekangan ke tu
Dia bagus audit ni, bagus. Cuma kita nak kena cari jalan macam mana nak memudahkan mungkin dia bagus. Saya setuju bila kita strict bila nak bagi duit kan. Tapi dia punya kekangan ada juga kadang orang tu dia perlu duit dan dia perlu duit, lepas tu nak bagi tu macam jadi payah. Jadi macam mana nak sebut
macam mana? Tapi itulah dia kadang doktor dia boleh kadang-kadang dia boleh lari juga daripada konsep wakaf tu sendiri. Bila kita terlampau sangat dah jadi macam bank itself pula kan.
Betul.
Apa jadi?
Itu dilema dia Jadi dari satu segi audit tu bagus untuk kita tengok transparansi, untuk kita tengok dia punya transparency and responsibility kan. Tapi dari satu segi kalau strict sangat, tengoklah orang yang dapat tu sikit saja. Mungkin kita kena belajar daripada Yayasan Osman Ibnu Affan. Dia lebih mudah untuk untuk memberi, dan kita dalam wakaf ni kita kena specify siapa beneficiary. Maksudnya misalnya kita kita identify lah beneficiary itu siapa kan. Mungkin ada pihak lain yang boleh distribute. Okey, lantik pihak lain pula untuk distribute. Bagi je kat dia berapa amount yang dia perlukan.
Okay.
Kemudian dia lah buat kerja untuk distribute tu.
Okay.
Kalau bank tu sendiri nak distribute, memang susah.
Betul lah, memang betul lah. Dia akan ikut dia punya law dia lah. Bank punya.
Kalau misalnya kita identify, okay, nak contribute. Contohlah masa COVID ni, kita nak contribute, let's say 4 juta kepada KKM. Kan? Lepas tu KKM lah fikir macam mana nak menggunakan duit 4 juta tu. Nak beli vaksin ke apa ke kan. Macam tu lah. Lepas tu, okay, kata nak bantu orang miskin. Pergilah kepada Kementerian Pembangunan Luar Bandar ke. Yang deal dengan tu kan. So bagilah berapa juta untuk mereka.
Berapa provision dan pendudukan yang diluluskan, yang diminta tu lah. Maka mereka yang akan uruskan lah kan.
Jadi dari sudut bank itu sendiri, dia cuma untuk audit, dia cuma catat di situ, okey, berapa amount bagi kepada beneficiary A, berapa amount bagi kepada beneficiary B, dan seterusnya lah kan. Katalah lepas identify 4 beneficiary kan. So tugas beneficiary itulah badan beneficiary itulah untuk mengagihkan.
Betul.
Jadi mudah.
Lepas tu nak lagi berkesan, dia orang akan buat paperwork lah lepas mereka buat dapat promotion tu kan. Tengok apa yang mereka buat, kata kerja bagi untuk submission final untuk bank. Untuk seterusnya pula lah kan. Yang lagi cantik lah.
Macam tu jadi baru nampak lebih berkesan kan. Kalau dia sendiri bertindak sebagai beneficiary, bertindak sebagai disburser, distributor, itu yang jadi
berat.
Orang nak pergi bank nak minta wakaf ni susah. Payah lah.
Itu di antara lah kekangan tu.
Itulah berdasarkan kajian yang saya buat tu lah, itu antara kekangan yang dihadapi oleh Wakaf Selangor Muamalat lah. Tapi setakat 2015 je lah. Yang terkini kena ada lagi kajian lah. And then full service Wakaf Bank ni satu idea yang menarik lah, saya rasa yang sepatutnya kita buat lebih banyak kajian lah. Untuk membolehkan dia dilaksanakan di Malaysia kan. Kalau di Turki boleh berjaya dan dia model yang baik, kenapa kita tak boleh buat di Malaysia kan? Itulah yang kita perlu kajian-kajian tu. Kalau tengok dia punya dana ni banyak lah dana. Semua dia dalam angka Turkish lira.
Mata wang Turki lah.
Cuma tak convert lah Malaysia punya ni. Nanti nak cuba convert tengok. Kalau itulah in the future saya nak cuba continue research yang dibuat oleh Muhammad 2015 dan Muhammad 2011 and then sambung kepada 2015 kan. Jadi ni kajian ni dah lama, dia macam terhenti.
Dia macam
jadi bila saya kaji tengok tak ada kajian terkini lah tentang penubuhan full flash
punya ni lah, Waqaf Bank.
Waqaf Bank ni. Memang saya rasa kalau kita berjaya buat, kita akan dapat dana yang banyak tau. Dan boleh difikirkan macam mana nak fully utilize dia kan untuk membantu pihak-pihak yang memerlukan. Kan sekarang ni zaman COVID apa semua kan. Ekonomi kita pun meleset, unemployment tinggi. So banyak benda yang perlu kita buat untuk kita membantu pihak-pihak yang ni lah, yang terkesan kan.
Betul.
Hampir semua orang terkesan, cuma sikit dengan banyak saya rasa. Macam kita ni alhamdulillah lah, masih
boleh sustain lagi lah.
Masih boleh sustain kan sebab alhamdulillah kerja
masih lagi kerja pun.
Macam kerja terjamin lah. Macam saya lecturer tu tak terkesan sangat lah dari segi gaji tu kan, sebab kita kerja mengajar kan, lecturer, cikgu duduk dapat gaji macam tu juga.
Fixed income lah.
Fixed income. Tapi kalau orang lain tu kan, dia
memang kesan besar.
Dia memang terkesan lah. Okey, soalan lain sebelum kita sambung ni. Cik Syahrul, ada apa-apa?
Tak ada, Ustaz. Okey.
Okey. Okey, kita sambung sikit. Waqf related functions.
Okay.
The first type of function in the hierarchy is Waqf related functions using the cash Waqf capital. This involves activities that fulfills Waqf's wishes using the Mawquf. Mawquf here is the cash dedicated as Waqf. So bahasa Arab dia Mawquf. Mawquf tu asalnya barang yang diwakafkan. Tapi dalam kes ini duit itulah Mawquf. Cash is the Mawquf. While using the Waqf fund, Muhammad suggested that the benevolent credit of Qadul Hasan and investment of the Waqf fund are two main functions of the Waqf bank, while using the cash Waqf capital. However, these activities require a broadening or extension of the classical legal rulings on allowable commercial activities as obtained by classical Islamic jurists. So dalam kajian yang lepas, dia dia telah mencadangkan supaya cash wakaf ni digunakan untuk dua tujuan. Satu bagi Qadul Hasan. Qadul Hasan ni maksudnya bagi pinjaman kepada pihak yang memerlukan. Contohnya peniaga kecil. Okey, so bagi pinjaman kepada peniaga kecil dan bayaran balik yang sama. Kalau dia bagi modal 10,000, bayaran balik pun 10,000. Itu Qadul Hasan. Yang kedua, dicadangkan digunakan wakafan itu untuk investment. Okay. Melabur di tempat lain yang boleh menyumbang kepada keuntungan. Dan sebahagian daripada keuntungan itu dibagi kepada beneficiary dan sebahagian lagi di reinvest. However, these activities require a broadening or an extension of the classical legal rulings. So yang ni kita kena kaji lagi lah pasal dia ada, bila sebut tentang usaha wakaf, dia ada dua pendapat. Satu pendapat ulama klasik yang kita panggil, pendapat ulama klasik, dan yang kedua pendapat ulama contemporary. So kena ambil kira dua-dua pendapat lah. According to Muhammad 2015, the two suggested main functions of Waqf Bank will not pose any problem if the ruling on Mudarabah-based investment, which is allowed by Hanafis, uh, is extended to include the modern-day bank's function of fund management. The ruling on the rental of coins, which is allowed by Shafi'ites, is extended to include Ijara-based transactions, and the rulings on permissibility of the concept of Tamiyah by Ibn Tamiyah be extended to any form of Sharia compliance investment transactions. So that is called Waqf related functions. Now let's discuss Islamic banking functions. The second type of function, that is Islamic banking functions, refers to profit-making activities of the Waqf bank without using the cash Waqf fund. This refers to the ordinary business activities of Islamic bank. Muhammad argued that it is a fundamental requirement that the Waqf bank should operate as Islamic bank. This is different from the concept of Waqf bank, where despite deriving its capital from Waqf and charitable foundations, it operates as a conventional bank using the interest. So masalah dengan Waqf bank tu ialah dia di apa ni, dia punya dana adalah daripada wakaf, tapi dia beroperasi sebagai conventional bank yang melibatkan riba. Itu masalah dengan Waqf bank. So di Malaysia kalau kita nak buat bank wakaf, dia mesti wajib ya ditubuhkan sebagai bank Islam. Okey. Ini sangat pentinglah. Kalau tidak macam mana? So wakaf adalah syariah compliant. So dia mesti beroperasi di under bank Islam lah. Among the very basic Islamic banking activities that can be undertaken among the very basic Islamic banking activities that can be undertaken by the Waqf Bank is the receiving of deposits from depositors. Macam bank Islam biasa lah, dia ambil deposit daripada depositors. So there are two types. Number one is a transaction deposit in current and savings account, which are normally risk-free for the depositors, but yield to depositors no return. Okay. And then the number two is the Waqf Bank can also accept investment deposits from general public based but not exclusively on Mudarabah and Mutlaqah principle. So macam, it's just like the commercial Islamic banks that can receive deposits from transaction deposits and also from the Waqf, from the investment deposits, just like the commercial Islamic banks. Apart from that, the Waqf Bank can also involve itself in other banking activities permitted by Sharia through trade or investment and by providing banking services such as wakalah, kafalah, custody and safe deposits, management and placement, advice, consultations, microcredit and other products. The management of revenues and distributable income. The model of Waqf Bank proposed by Muhammad places restrictions on the way the available fund can be used. The capital obtained from Waqf, that is the Waqf capital, can only be used for activities or investments envisaged by the Waqf and activities or investment towards maintenance and development of Waqf assets. On the other hand, part of the capital and other funds obtained from non-Waqf sources or from banks, banking business may be used for other business purposes, as well as for the maintenance and development of Waqf assets of the bank. In other words, ratios of income capital is not equal. Priority must be given to Waqf-related spending, even if it means using money obtained from activities not related to Waqf. A Waqf bank can create revenues through trade or investment using the non-Waqf capital and by providing banking services such as wakalah, kafalah, custody and safe deposits, management and placement, advice, consultations, microcredit, and other products. The bank can use these revenues for operational expenses and risk management purposes. If there is surplus, the bank can share it with investors through the initial agreement of the parties. Because the objective of Waqf is to offer social and economic benefits to the poor and disadvantaged persons, a Waqf bank has to save costs and generate more income. For this reason, the bank needs to operate efficiently so that the expenses of the Waqf banks are at the minimum. In other words, the management must exercise extra caution so that the Waqf capital is shielded from the negative impacts of business and investment activities using non-Waqf capital. As far as distributable income is concerned, Waqf bank has three main stakeholders. That is the Waqif, represented by the State Islamic Religious Councils or other Waqf management body, the depositors in the current and savings account, and the investors, that is customers of Waqf bank investment products. So as for the revenue obtained from the utilization of Waqf capital, there is no question about it. It has to be distributed according to the conditions stipulated by the Waqif, represented by the State Islamic Religious Council. The income of Waqf, however, has to be managed in a way that provides sustainability of Waqf bank and benefits the beneficiaries of Waqf. Therefore, the bank shall keep a substantial part of such profits, and the balance shall be transferred to the beneficiaries of Waqf or other funds. For revenues obtained from the use of non-Waqf capital, the profits of the bank after allocation of dividends to its investors and non-Waqf shareholders along with Zakat can be distributed on welfare projects and microfinancing according to Islamic law. Maintenance of Waqf capital. One issue concerning Waqf bank is the Waqf capital has to be maintained and not to be allowed to be depleted. On the other hand, the Waqf bank has to be operated on a for-profit basis for the Waqf capital to grow. That is producing revenues that can be distributed to the beneficiaries. But profit-making enterprises necessitates exposing the Waqf capital to the risk of losses. The operator of the Waqf bank, therefore, has to find a way to reconcile between the need of a bank to embark on a business adventure, which may or may not bring profit to the bank, and the religious requirements of ensuring that the Waqf property that is cash in the context of Waqf bank will not be depleted in any way. Okay, so ada soalan setakat ni? Cik Zul, ada apa-apa soalan?
Tak ada tu.
Ya. So, isu bila kita buat cash Waqf ni ialah yang pertama dia mesti dia pertama dia sebagai bank. Bila bank dia kena invest, bila dia invest dia ada risiko lah, dia ada untung dan rugi.
Betul.
Itu satu isu lah. Yang kedua, bila konsep Waqf ni, duit itu tak boleh berkurang.
Betul juga.
Duit itu tak boleh berkurang.
Ya betul. Kalau itu maknanya itu berbalik pada dia orang guna konsep asal itu conventional bank di Turki tu. Makna kata in terms of macam kita Islamic bank, contoh macam Mudarabah kan, dia ada portion kan. Bila kita invest, rugi sama-sama rugi. So rugi pada contributors untuk Waqf ni macam mana kan? Satu
Ya.
masalah juga tu. Kalau untung tak apa.
Ya. Dia konsep wakaf ni, bila kita ada mauquf, kan, so bila kita ada mauquf, kita ada cash. Isunya untuk dia dikembangkan, kita mesti invest. Right? Kalau tidak, dia tak kembang. Bila invest, dapat untung, sebahagiannya diberi kepada pihak yang memerlukan dan sebahagian lagi di reinvest. Macam Yayasan Osman Ibn Affan, dia invest dalam sektor agriculture dan juga sektor real estate. Bila untung, 50% dibagi kepada beneficiaries dan 50% reinvest. Sebab tu dia grow. So itu
Macam tabung haji lah betul.
Tabung haji beza sikit lah.
Dia punya investment dia more to agricultural, sawit, oil palm apa semua kan. Yang dia risk rendah lah.
Ya. Betul lah. Dia kena invest dalam sektor yang risiko rendah, ataupun kalau ikut kajian oleh Muhammad tu, dia kata dia kena buat hedging. Tengok, in model of Waqf Bank, the dilemma untuk solve risiko tu kan. The above dilemma, there is the risk in investment is resolved through hedging by setting aside adequate funds to offset losses to maintain Waqf capital stability. In other words, for every RM1 from the cash Waqf capital that is invested, that is through lending or investing in business adventures, the bank must have RM1 sourced from non-Waqf resources to cover any losses arising out of the lending or investing activities. Dia cadangkan macam tu lah. Dia panggil hedging. Kemudian Ahmad revealed the need of microfinance institutions to cushion themselves against a non-performing loan. So isu lagi, katalah bagi Qadul Hasan kan, dia kena bayar balik capital. Tapi masalah juga kan, yang kena fikir adalah what about the non-performing loan? Sebab bila kita bagi, dia banyak isu juga lah kan. Bagi Qadul Hasan, kalau orang tu tak bayar,
nak collect balik bukan senang.
Itu kena ni jugalah. So Qadul Hasan ni idea dia nak membantu orang lain memulakan bisnes kecil-kecilan.
Betul.
Semua bisnes. So dia bayar balik the amount of capital kan. Tapi isu dengan ni lah, dengan non-performing loan lah. So according to Ahmad, microfinance institution needs to create some special reserves to ensure against the risk arising from the negative shocks. The first start would be the takaful reserve created by the small weekly or monthly contributions of the beneficiaries. This takaful reserve would be used to support beneficiaries who are unable to pay their dues. Dicadangkan buat macam tu.
Okey juga.
Macam buat takaful fund. Sebab ada orang, kalau semua bisnes ni macam-macam lah kan. Yang ada yang gagal kan. Gagal. So dia tak mampu bayar balik. So dicadangkan buat macam takaful reserve. Second, a profit equalizing reserve will be established by deducting a small percentage of the profit share of depositors during the relatively profitable periods of operations. Ini cadangan je lah. This reserve will be used to boost rates of returns on deposits during periods when the returns get depressed. So yang ni cadangan je lah. Kalau masa masa dapat untung tinggi, sebahagian pada keuntungan tu dideduct untuk kita reserve. Semasa tempoh yang lain tu keuntungan rendah, jadi guna duit tu lah untuk bagi return kepada kepada depositors kan. Similarly, the microfinance institution should build up a reserve from its surplus that can serve as economic capital. This reserve can be used to cushion any negative effect or negative shock that may affect the financial position of the institution. Yang ni Waqf management outsourcing model, kita tengok sikit. Okay, 10 minit lagi. Waqf management outsourcing model. Waqf management was a private affair in the early period of its development, starting from the Waqf of Sayyidina Umar radhiyallahu anhu of his land in Khaybar. Ini zaman Rasulullah. Before starting the 8th century of Hijrah, the states gradually assert the authority on the management of Waqf. By the 13th century of Hijrah, the management of Waqf was essentially a state affair in the Ottoman Empire, a legacy inherited by the Muslim world even until today. This is also the current practice in Malaysia. For example, Section 89 of the Administration of the Religion of Islam, State of Selangor Enactment 2003 provides that for Waqf involving parties situated in Selangor, notwithstanding any provision to the contrary contained in any instrument or declaration creating, governing, or affecting it, the Selangor SRRC shall be the sole trustee of all Waqf, whether general Waqf or specific Waqf. Analysis of other states' administration or Islamic law enactments or other enactments that regulate Waqf matters in the relevant state shows that this is the prevailing position in all the states. So, di Malaysia ni semua urusan berkaitan Waqf adalah tertakluk dan terletak di bawah Majlis Agama Islam negeri masing-masing. Previously, however, the practice of SRC, State Islamic Religious Council, as the default mutawalli upon the creation of Waqf was not always the case, since Waqf was allowed to appoint a mutawalli of his choice. For example, in Johor, Section 41 of the Repeal State of Johor's Administration of Islamic Law Enactment 1978, it was provided that the Majlis, that is the Islamic Religious Council, shall be the trustee of all the mawqufs, that is properties dedicated as Waqf declared in Johor, except where the provisions to the contrary are present in the document of the Waqf, which creates the Waqf or wasiat or will relating to the appointment of a specific nazir, the person appointed by the Waqf to administer the Waqf properties. This previously enforced statutory provision effectively returns the management of a mawquf to anybody or entity appointed by the Waqf. Under the existing administration of Islamic law enactment in all the states in Malaysia, insofar as the choice of mutawalli is concerned, a person intending to donate his property in this context as Waqf by default under the law has no choice but to appoint the State Islamic Religious Council as the mutawalli or trustee manager to administer the Waqf. It is then up to the State Islamic Religious Council to make further arrangements on how the Waqf is to be administered. The provisions contained in the respective states' enactment regarding mutawalli do not explicitly prohibit the mutawalli from delegating its responsibilities to third parties. This absence of provision has enabled some state Islamic religious councils to delegate their responsibilities as mutawalli to third parties. This shall not be regarded as a negative development in the field of Waqf management. Instead, this will pave the way for the more efficient management of Waqf in the future. Ada isu juga tentang pengurusan wakaf di negeri, sebab semua urusan wakaf terletak di bawah bidang kuasa Majlis Agama Islam Negeri. Jadi dalam setengah kes, Majlis Agama Islam Negeri boleh delegate responsibility kepada pihak lain untuk menguruskan wakaf. Sebab kadang-kadang kalau otherwise, kalau tidak kan, sebahagian pada tanah itu kita dapati berdasarkan kajian, sebahagian pada tanah itu tidak dibangunkan. Jadi bila Majlis Agama Islam Negeri tidak membangunkan sebahagian tanah, contohnya dia perlu delegate responsibility to other mutawalli. Kemudian ada isu yang sebahagian pada tanah itu tidak didaftar di bawah Majlis Agama Islam Negeri tapi dibagi kepada mutawalli yang tertentu. Semenjak dahulu kala, ada yang semenjak sebelum merdeka, ada yang semenjak lama lah. Sebab kurangnya pengetahuan, jadi dia wakaf tanah atau harta kepada orang-orang atau individu-individu atau pihak-pihak yang tertentu. Jadi itu menyebabkan sebahagian daripada tanah wakaf itu tidak di-develop. In several states such as Selangor, Johor, Negeri Sembilan and Melaka, the administration of Waqf is transferred by the State Islamic Religious Council in the states to other corporate bodies in Johor, Selangor, Negeri Sembilan and Melaka. As far as the corporatas bodies which receive the transfers of the administration of Waqf are concerned, they belong to either one or two types. First, corporate entities which are related to the State Islamic Religious Council, and secondly, the corporate entity which has no connection whatsoever with the State Islamic Religious Council. An example of the first type is Negeri Sembilan Waqf Corporation or Perbadanan Waqaf Negeri Sembilan. Perbadanan Waqaf Negeri Sembilan, a private limited subsidiary company of Majlis Agama Islam Negeri Sembilan Holding Sembilan Berhad, which itself is the investment arm of the Negeri Sembilan Religious Department or Majlis Agama Islam Negeri. An example of the second type is Waqf An-Nur Corporation Berhad 1 Corp, which is a limited by a guarantee company established by a Johor Corporation Group of companies to manage the assets and shares of the group endowed for Waqf. So di Johor, Majlis Agama Islam Negeri menurunkan kuasa kepada One Corp, dan One Corp ni adalah satu corporate body yang tak ada kaitan dengan Majlis Agama Islam Negeri Johor. Kalau di Negeri Sembilan, dia Majlis Agama Islam Negeri dia menurunkan kuasa kepada Perbadanan Waqaf Negeri Sembilan. Dan Perbadanan Waqaf Negeri Sembilan ni adalah subsidiary kepada Majlis Agama Islam Negeri. So dia boleh menurunkan kuasa kepada pihak yang ada kaitan dengan Majlis Agama Islam Negeri ataupun pihak yang tidak ada kaitan dengan Majlis Agama Islam Negeri. Nowadays, however, the role of such a third-party corporate entities is no longer limited to managing the Waqf only. That is, they receive the files or instructions from the State Islamic Religious Councils, but also accepting the assets to be dedicated as Waqf, that is, the public can deal directly with them and bypass the SIRC. This is the case as far as cash Waqf is concerned. For example, Perbadanan Waqaf Selangor, which is the Selangor Islamic Religious Council's Waqf Management Arm, is authorized to collect money on behalf of the Selangor Islamic Religious Council from the Muslim public who are interested to participate in scheme Saham Waqaf Selangor or Selangor Share Waqaf Scheme. The scheme, which is a cash Waqaf scheme, allows the intended Waqf to dedicate as low as 10 ringgit as Waqaf by giving the amount to Perbadanan Waqaf Selangor, which accepts it on behalf of the Selangor Islamic Religious Council. The State Islamic Religious Councils, in particular the Johor State Islamic Religious Council, are willing to return the management of the Waqf to the Waqif, as can be seen in the case of Waqf, including cash Waqf made by the Johor Corporation Group of Companies. This is a unique case that warrants further research, considering that the concept of corporation as a separate legal entity is not recognized under the Sharia. In essence, the arrangement between the Johor SRRC, Johor Corporation, and One Corp marked the coming of a full circle of the history of management of Waqf, which is in the early days of Islam, is the private right of the Waqif. Insofar as Johor Corporation's Waqf is concerned, by a special arrangement between the Johor State Islamic Religious Council and the Johor Corporation entered on the 4th December 2009, Johor Corporation, the Waqif, becoming the de facto manager of its Waqf. Since the Mawquf Alayh, the entity that is to benefit from the creation of Waqf, is its subsidiary Waqf An-Nur Corporation Berhad or One Corp, which was appointed by Johor State Islamic Religious Council as a special Nazir or Mutawalli for properties dedicated as Waqf by its parent company, Johor Corporation. So in this case, One Corp therefore is just a Mawquf Alayh or beneficiary on paper. In practice, it manages the assets dedicated by its holding company, Johor Corporation, to Waqf. The real beneficiary in this arrangement is the Muslim Ummah, who benefits from Johor Corporation or One Corp initiatives using the Waqf assets, such as the establishment of Waqf An-Nur Hospital, HWAN, and the chain of Waqf An-Nur Clinics, KWAN, Waqf Dana Niaga, Waqf Bridget, Waqf Community Center, and contributions to the society through general welfare allocations. The use of special purpose corporate entities such as illustrated by One Corp enable Waqif or the donors of Waqf to bring the management of the assets dedicated to Waqf, that is Al-Mawquf, back into their control, back to the control of the Waqif, like the position in the early days of Islam. However, this arrangement may only materialize with the consent of the State Islamic Religious Council, since in the final analysis under the law, State Islamic Religious Council is still the ultimate entity being tasked with the responsibility to manage any Waqf created in a particular state. So it remains to be seen whether this trend of outsourcing the management of Waqf to third parties, corporate bodies will still go on. However, such an arrangement reflects the true origin of Waqf as a private, non-governmental institution, not to mention that such an arrangement will release the SIRCs from the great management burden of having to administer over a large sum of money as well as property. The SIRCs will still have a supervisory and regulatory role in such a special arrangement. Pakar-pakar dalam bidang wakaf ni, dia mencadangkan kalau kita tubuhkan wakaf atau apa-apa jawatankuasa untuk menguruskan wakaf atau apa-apa wakaf institution, elakkan orang politik untuk terbabit. dia mesti orang yang bebas. Elakkan orang
Free.
politik.
Okay.
Sebab kita takut bila orang politik masuk dalam mana-mana institusi wakaf, duit banyak kan, dia boleh gunakan dana itu untuk kepentingan politik kan. Itu pendapat pakar-pakar dalam bidang wakaf lah.
Betul. Tepat.
Okey, so nanti kita sambung dengan ada satu lagi model wakaf, The Labuan International Wakaf Foundation LIWF model. Okey, kita sambung ni minggu depan insya-Allah. Wallahu taala a'lam. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.